Now my Love me like a ghost, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Love me like a ghost, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Just hold on, baby. I'm looking for you lately. It's been a little crazy, but maybe that's okay. Beauty like the sunrise, eyes like the moonlight. Hold my hand, it's alright, yeah. Love me like a ghost. With you I get chills. Ooh, I love the thrill, oh yeah. Love me like a ghost. Never let me go. Walking through these walls, oh yeah. Love me like a ghost. With you I get chills. Ooh, I love the thrill, oh yeah. Love me like a ghost. Walking through these walls. Never let me go. Please don't close your eyes tonight. I need you by my side. Just hold on, baby. I'm looking for you lately. It's been a little crazy, but maybe that's okay. Beauty like the sunrise, eyes like the moonlight. Hold my hand, it's alright, yeah. Love me like a ghost. With you I get chills. Ooh, I love the thrill, oh yeah. Love me like a ghost. Never let me go. Walking through these walls, oh yeah. Love me like a ghost. With you I get chills. Ooh, I love the thrill, oh yeah. Love me like a ghost. Walking through these walls. Never let me go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Belong Arena Clash here for the second week of our playoffs bracket. Of course, the many teams have been cut down to just 8, and 8 have been cut down to 4. Today, we'll cut them down to just 2, who will be in Bristol for the Arena Clash finals. Once again, I'm the Eternal J. I'm joined by Digital Bacon, as always, here. You've brought some new technologies to the fold today.
Yeah, we might have a little switch to help with color casting here today.
Yeah, he's actually got Rocket League up, so he's actually bought a second copy of the game exclusively to watch the matches. Here, we are innovating broadcast technology here in the Arena Clash.
It has come with a price, because I have to tell the guys to enable crossplay so that I can get into the lobby. But, these little bugs, we've got a couple minutes, well, I think about, normally 4 or 5 minutes before we actually get into the match, because we have to break down today's action, don't we, Jay? So, let's bring up the bracket.
Yeah, let's have a look, see at how things went down. In case you missed the action last week, we got to see the likes of Centurions take on the Harriers and the Nighthawks take on the Kestrels. No, but the Centurions managed to beat out the Harriers at 4-2, and the Kestrels beat out the Nighthawks. And it was a really, really close 7th game series. And now they're going up against the Enigmas, who beat out the Vikings, and the Claymores, who beat out the Steelers, respectively. Not too surprising on those two off-stream results from Enigmas and Claymores, because obviously they were the two top seeds of this whole tournament, and right now they are going to be competing for another grand final spot, Bacon.
Yeah, it's all coming down to this. 2 weeks' time, we are going to be in Bristol crowning our champions, but we still have 4 teams left, and looking at this, we do expect, of course, it to be Milton Keynes going up against Glasgow once again, but we have got 2 teams that could challenge them, and we always welcome an upset, don't we?
Well, we'll have to see whether those upsets come to fruition. We're going to have to see, again, how well these underdog teams will be able to contest. We'll take a look at the lineups for our first match of the day. Again, the Craigavon Kestrels taking on the Clyde Claymores. Claymores, as we mentioned, they managed to go down by 2 games in the best of 7 series back over in the first season of the Arena Clash. So we saw them, obviously, be in those grand finals. And again, you talk about how well these guys have done and the lineups that they've been a part of, that they've been playing together as a main core unit. And right now, they're just looking like a really, really dominant sort of force, essentially,
Yeah, so let's break down the difference between these two sides. Claymores, of course, have got 4 very experienced European players. I know they're all Scottish and they're all local to Glasgow, of course, but I'm saying they've got experience on the European circuit right up into the Renegade sort of cup from last year, so that's a very high bubble scene level. Look at the Kestrels coming into this. They're really no names, but we just have to say Zadoff, Alpha and Blue Flare have been a fantastic little trio, and I think if the Claymores aren't ready for this, if they're overconfident coming into this, they could, there could be an upset coming.
I'm not confident about them, actually. I don't think that the Claymores should be able to lose out to that easily, to be honest. I even think in terms of the formation, in terms of how these teams play up, even if they aren't playing on form, I just think that the talent level is so high in that one. Freecant's been a great sort of asset to the Claymore side. Chief, a great chief, if you will, to spare the pun. Shots is also a really great breakout star who's now starting to get involved in the RLRS level of talent. So He's actually holding his own right now on the Claymore side. I think just as a whole, these are a lot of experienced players that could do a lot of damage.
When you talk about Shots there, he's the one which this team hinges on. You'll notice their best performances are when Shots is performing. If he's not feeling it on the day, the team can really start becoming a little bit sluggish. And that is going to be the case not only for this series, but if they make it into the finals, it will all hinge on that one lad, and that's a lot of weight on his shoulders.
That is assuming that Calzafe is not playing for them. Of course, the Clyde Claymores have that guy as a sub, essentially. I want to ask you what your opinions on Calzafe in Slime.
Oh, he's a great player, and we've seen him subbing before for free can't, and the team has worked absolutely fine. And if he is subbing in today, because we don't know exactly the rosters yet, I mean, I could just quickly open up that and have a look who we got on the pitch already. But if he is playing here today, there shouldn't be any problem. He is a high-level player himself. Yeah. So,
I mean, again, it's just sort of that thing of just like, even if they do have the biggest handicap of their sort of like lineup, it's massive air quotes in that respect. It's not exactly a handicap. He's actually a really good player.
Okay, so I've just had a look. No Eclipse here today, but we do... no Alpha today, but we do have Eclipse. Players hopping on into the lobby, so we should be getting started any moment.
Yes, quick prediction before we get started, though. Where do you think it's going to go?
4-1 to the Clyde Claymores, I reckon. I'm giving Kestrels a benefit of the doubt to get one game.
I'm going to also agree on that front. I think probably 4-1 is probably the best scoreline. If not a 4-0, one of those two for the Clyde Claymores, in my opinion. Let's see how well they'll be able to contest against the Kragavon Kestrels. They're in the blue side, on the right-hand side of the field, and the Kestrels in the yellow side of things. All control out over at the midfield line. Shot's going to try and look for the first shot on target as Claymores do just trade back and forth offensive here. The Kestrels actually off the backboard in towards the next player here from the corner, out from the box. It will be a shot taken by Zadov. Taken away by shots, and Calzafe with the backboard plays in towards Chiefin. Nice play out towards the net, but unfortunately it will be denied by the defensive. Pretty confident stuff coming in from the Kestrels here.
Yeah, the problem for the Claymores and why the Kestrels have so much control at the moment is because the Claymores are way too spaced out, Jay. You'll notice that there's not quick enough follow-ups. Calzafe getting that into center, but there's not anyone to really capitalize on it. A little whiff, though, does create an opening, and Shots is going to be able to pop that way.
Yeah, Calzafe bouncing that one off. Two players missing on the defense here for the Kestrels side. That's pretty unfortunate, if I do say so myself. 1-0 on the board for the Clyde Claymores, and only within the first 60 seconds of the matchup. And again, it kind of came down to two big mistakes from two of the crucial players of that defense. If I don't think it would have gone in other than that, it was nothing special from the Clyde Claymores side. Neither is this, but that swinging from Shots will be able to capitalize on the opportunity that Calzafe set up.
Definitely seeing a lot of nerves coming in here from Kestrels, and it's leaving so many open opportunities like that one there for the Claymores. Shots thin it's there, and generally when he's got a weaker opponent, he can really show off.
2-0 for the Claymore side as they continue to try and dominate throughout the course of these semi-finals. As Zadov takes this one into the box, leaving it for a teammate, and well, okay, it looks like Eclipse actually is going to be able to score that one. So Clyde Claymores, their defensive looking a bit more suspect as well, Bacon.
Yeah, big pickup here from them, as it's going to be put away by Eclipse. Don't get me wrong, it's on that close post, and really easy actually for the Kestrels to get. Claymores with an oversight, not covering the ball quick enough.
These shots here with the dribble up, passing up towards the teammates, towards the top corner. It won't be put in though, be a bit too far wide and high. So the Kestrels can take away. As Blue tries to chase this one back down, going for a shot that isn't registered, but it wouldn't get close. The 50-50 challenges will keep things going in the Kestrels offensive as they take out from the corner here. Teed up by Shots over to Calzafe, passing back in towards Shots. This redirect could be a beautiful sequence, but it's blocked off by Blue Flares. Nicely done from him. Eclipse still with control of the midfield. Nice touch out there from him. He demos out Calzafe. It doesn't take the ball much further than that. He got the touch in and puts it back over to the yellow half.
Oh, big shot coming on as well, and that's going to scramble the defense here, Jay. Notice now how the midfield line is just held up by the Claymores. They're not going to allow much pass. They're doing long pop shots on and quick follow-ups. Not convincing enough for me. Here, it looks like the Claymores today aren't as fired up as normal.
They need to be too fired up, though. They have got that one-goal lead, and in the end, they're just punishing mistakes on the Kestrels that the Kestrels just seem to be making left, right, and centre. A couple of misses from that backboard, and here with that 150-50, the last player back in net, I'm not sure who that was, but they weren't in any position to save that ball.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a difficult session coming on in, because naturally the Kestrels are playing with their sub. No Alpha here today, so it's a little bit of a hindrance. But one goal already up on the board. Let's see. They've got to talk to each other. They've got to probably keep it quite close here, Jay. They need to focus on that possession, because that is going to be a big asset for them to get past the Claymores, especially if they're doing a lot of shadow plays. With the wide spacing you're seeing from the Claymores, you'll be able to punch holes through them.
Backboard play, going for the shot here from Zadov, but blocked off by Chief. Follow through, should come through from Eclipse, and there you go. Kestrels trying to contest at halftime here.
Brilliant little follow-up here, and again, all this pressure. Was saying earlier about how you've got to continuously follow up on the ball. You might call it ball chasing even, but it's going to pay rewards. The only problem is that their defense could become a little bit more shaky because of it.
Yeah, I feel like some of these commitments might get a bit dicey for the Kestrels. So they had all three players pushed up in that blue half to get to this goal. Oh, that back pass could be a bit more awkward with their own right. Kalzov here to dunk it down. Oh, no. That's not good for the Kestrels. Again, that awkward touch, this back pass to no one. And Kalzov in perfect positions to try and challenge.
Perfectly broken down there, Jay. That touch was effing. What he was trying to do was get over to the side, of course, to the wall, and then be able to chase up. Where he's just got it such a weak touch, and it's just going to linger in the air. That is prime for the Claymores to finish off, and the defender can't really do much against it, especially when there's so much space on the net to shoot. Nice attempt, and it will bring pressure in Kestrel's favour, but you notice these clears coming out from the Claymores and how they can chase up on it. Just so much more cleaner.
We've got blue flares here inside that corner as his teammates start getting some demos in. Shots will go down for the moment, but Kalzov and Chief do have control of the ball and control of the clear. Zadov also beating out one, challenging the pass back into the second, but it's Chief with a booming clear. Kalzov sets this up. Shot's got an open net. Can he strike? Yes, he can. And the Clyde Claymores knowing exactly where to place themselves, knowing exactly where to place the ball, and knowing exactly how to get that fifth goal.
Yeah, brilliant. For me, it's all about the hit upfield from Chief over to Kalzaf. Kalzaf getting the redirect onto the wall for shots to just be able to follow up on so easily. And it's all set down to that hard work from his teammates. And this is the best style that Claymores will have in this position, where essentially they're feeding opportunities to shots, because his shot accuracy, it's just probably why he named himself that, you know?
Well, I mean, he's living up to that name, that's certain. You know, he was living up to it since the last season, essentially. As Kalzaf passes the Chief, good booming shot on target, and the Kestrels' last man just a little bit mispositioned on this case.
Yeah, when you need him most, the captain stepping on in here. Chief, what a banger. Great little setup there from Kalzaf, straight to him. But Chief, the accuracy and power on that, brilliant.
4 goals to come back to the Kestrels. Difficult little task up ahead of them. With that ball inside that corner, dunk down chance. That one's going to be pushed away by Kalzaf, fortunate enough, but it did look a little bit slow and awkward from the Kestrels' defence. Another back pass. This is just leaving a lot of open opportunities for the Claymore side. 60 seconds to go, and even if they can't get these goals in, the pressure should be enough to keep Kestrels at bay. 4 goals to score, about 10 seconds apiece in the next 5 seconds as Chief passes up towards shots. They're going to put another one back on the board, or at least try to. Let's play up the backboard. Here we go. Chief in, no one in the net. Demo's out, and that is a 7th for the Clyde Claymores.
This is actually such a brilliant attempt there from shots with the pass in to Kalzaf. Chief being able to follow up is just quite natural due to their spacing. Shots is already on the way out, and it comes down to this team being such a great team together. There's not any greed there. They know they get their goals from passing plays, and it's just such a solid side.
1-2-1 pass, faked out. No secondary challenge against shots may have been able to work out there for the Kestrels team, but in the end, he is able to get the only touch that he needs to take that away. It doesn't even need to be strong. Ooh, close ball still, and no punish available for the Kestrels side. Taken away towards that corner. Pass out to the centre line could also come out. Zadov beaten out by shots. And the midfield control will pass back into Zadov, but Kalzaf swings in to take control, passing up to his teammate. Passes back to Kalzaf, looking for a shot, and it will be blocked off. But 5 seconds left. The Claymores will have won this game. They'll put one more back in for good measure. 8-2 seems to be our ending scoreline.
Does indeed, unless we get a quick kick-off goal, of course. But yeah, you're noticing here, Jay, a lot of these problems have come down to whiffs. And the stem of the problem in this case was right down when the Kestrels had the ball down the Claymore's end. They were hitting the ball off to the wall, but they couldn't follow up securely onto it. There was 2 players that got caught up going for it, both missing. And so the Claymores could get an easy runaway, 2v1, and they can sink that.
So there you go. Claymores starting things off right on the right foot, and again, not exactly the most unexpected scoreline, I think, Bacon. Like, he's one of the second seed teams, so I think a lot of us were taking a look at this like it's probably going to be a 4-1 or a 4-0. I think we individually chose 4-1 just due to giving a little bit of credence to the idea that Kestrels might be able to do some damage, but unfortunately this first game is not where that damage will be done.
Yeah, and looking at this one so far, you could definitely see this being a 4-0, and a big factor of that is the lack of alpha in this team. Him and Zadov, they linked up so well with each other to the point where that's where a lot of their passing plays came in. Blue Flares was good, but he was always sort of left on his own a little bit and would play off with solo play goals or just more backing up that defense. That was his main characteristic. So here, where they had to bring in that fourth man, the sub, it's not working as well. And you got to think there's also the massive difference in rank there with bringing in the sub.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not been the greatest little start again for the Kestrels side, but we'll find out whether or not they can hold their own against the Claymores going into Game 2. They have had their bit of warm-up opportunity, so let's see how well they can handle themselves. Game 2, Claymores 1-0 up and looking for their first goal in this game. Pushed out by the Kragavon Kestrels as they try and pass between each other. Great sequences coming through from them, but in the end it is pushed over to their own half. The Demos will finally open up the line as it off controls, getting it past one of the defenders, not past the second, as Shots and Calzafay are able to receive here from the box to the corner. And back over to the midfield as Shots and Calzafay will both lose control, and Chief left alone in the back line. Calzafay demoed out here as Blue Flares goes in with a decent challenge back over to that corner. Zadoff also contested. Calzafay will also rotate as Shots comes in, passes up, missed out by Chief, but that's not too much of a worry. Claymores, they now have the offensive pressure, and the Kestrels have struggled against this before so far in this series, off towards this box, but not put in by the blue side.
Strategy's looking better from the Kestrels on this one. The problem is that they're trying to space themselves out a little bit more in defense. And they've got to be careful on that, because quite often it is just one man back solo in net. The attack hasn't been great enough from Claymores yet to really threaten them.
Calzafay beaten to the ball. Eclipse couldn't get control of it, so that allows Shots a bit of an open line. Beats out one of the defenders. The great dribble plays in, but he's going to take his time too far wide. Right inside, going for the solo play, but he's demoed out by the Kestrels defense. As Calzafay and Chief still swinging. Good shot close to the left-hand side. It will be placed wide. Calzafay up, the setup comes through. It's off the post, in towards Shots. He's a little bit late to the marker, and the Claymores struggling to get this first goal on the board. They're outpacing themselves, it feels like here, Bacon. Very quick swings in, but not as coordinated as we want to see from the Claymores team, and the Kestrels can counter-attack. Beat out one of the defenders. Calzafay passing up towards Shots will pass back to Chief, but he's been bumped out of the way, and Chief will be a little bit late to the party. Will pass up to his teammates. Double commit there, and the Claymores scrambling to get something on the board.
Yeah, very, very scruffy plays coming out from both sides. You notice Kestrels starting to get a little bit clustered up, because naturally they're spaced out on defense, but they'll really group up on their attack. Like I said earlier, they notice that to be able to punch a hole through the defense with the spacing of Claymores, it'll work. They can really just chase up. Should see it follow up there. Well cut out from Shots. And at the moment, it's a little bit...
Whoa.
Oh, good power from Shots there. I thought that'd be saved.
Apparently not. Calzafay passing up towards him. The demo came through, and I believe that was Blue Flares going for that save. But a little bit late to the respawn in this one, Bacon. First on the board for the Claymores, of course. 2 minutes and 50 on the clock as the Kestrels concede that opener here. Shot's going to beat out 2 of the offending players and try go for a solo play in with the control. Doesn't actually take it towards the net, instead just tries to take it away from Kestrel's control, because that defense is rotating in. They're back on a counter-attack, but it's blocked off by Chief here in the defense. Good stuff.
Yeah, Chief doing well on defense, but you'll notice Kestrels are adapting. Maybe it's not all doom and gloom like we thought after the first game, Jay. Notice how they're really structuring themselves better.
Chief.
Chief just getting right on in here. Unexpected, but there was a mistouch coming out from Kestrel 4 there. Zadoff, not like you expect, a little bit better from that. It's unfortunate. He wanted to get a big clear downfield and just get the right touch.
It's 2-0 for the Claymores, so therefore the safety cushion is in effect. Kestrels off to this corner board, trying to play inside that box, and Shots over to Calzafay will take it in. Second touch could be allowed, going to be missed out instead, so the Kestrels will be able to return. Shots passing back into Chief. He'll be able to contest, but only for so long. The touches are better for the Kestrel side. It's boomed back over to the yellow half. And a bit of presence here from the Claymores team, but no will be just played out towards that midfield. Calzafay challenging as well. Off receiving this pass, a little bit wide on that particular shot, and no backup here for the Kestrel side. You know, they're playing well individually to get these clears and find some close balls, but the follow-up shots overall, they're just not coming through for them.
It's because Boost has become a little bit disjointed. Oh, good save there from shots. Really brought into question, and a great follow-up here from Calzafe to get it off into essentially a dangerous position for the Kestrels. But yeah, Kestrels right now, they got focused on their boost. They're making sure they keep to their rotations, but it is at the cost of that boost, which means they're not snappier, they're not quick enough to these plays, Jay.
More shots to Calzafe in towards Chief. That's a beautiful three-man play. Nothing they could do about that one for the Kestrels, beating out every single player on an individual basis. It's 3-0 for the Clyde side.
Yeah, very, very snappy passes there. Notice from one man to the next. It's how they're getting the ball downfield so quickly and can catch Kestrels off those rotations.
Blue flares into the pass, taken away by Calzafe. Shot sets up a decent opportunity here for Calzafe to dunk right down. Ooh, blocked away by Zadov, but Chief right there in position. You can see that one coming a mile away, and you're shaking your head. You're not happy with that.
This was poor. So shots, of course, set up quite nice and easy, but it was just, I don't know which man it was sitting in net, just did not want to go up and aggress on that and sort of force the error. You've got to have that. I know he's technically the last man back as he's sitting in net, but if you're sitting in net, you're worth nothing. You have to have momentum, and you have to move and close down the angles.
Oh,
that from
Chief.
Chief, though.
Oh, my word. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful from the Clyde Claymores defender. Oh, the attacker, I should actually say. And the captain, the Chief, 5-0 for Clyde Claymores. And Kestrels aren't even allowed an opportunity here in this second game. Got a couple goals in against the Clyde Claymores side, but this time around it's just all been blue side goals, all into those yellow nets, and 45 seconds to go to turn this around. I think Kestrels maybe a little bit too far gone at this stage, mate.
Well, it's all coming down to the Claymores have figured out the changes the Kestrels have made, and so have adapted accordingly. They're using a lot of aerial space, and that is where Kestrels are weakest. This is, just for the Claymores anyway, a very simple play.
Yeah, 6-0, Claymores. 33 seconds for them to take the second game of this one. It's nothing out of the ordinary again. We have to stress that. This is the second highest seed in the whole tournament. Very dominant performance being shown up by these boys here. Deception from Chief will just keep it inside the yellow half, and you know this game is a loss, so Kestrels, the best that they can do is probably hope for a consolation goal. We talk about the mentality game a lot here on the show, and we mentioned that, you know, a lot of the times those last second goals, the ones that come in just before the timer hits zero, so that way you get at least something out of this game, can be a bit of a morale boost going in further. And Kestrels are going to have to look towards the remaining games here of this series, because this one is a loss, and they're going to need all the morale that they can get to try and stay alive against the Clyde Claymores.
But you can still see that the Kestrels have so much skill about them. That progression downfield was lovely. The problem is the Claymores, like you said, are the second seed in all of this, and the top two seeds are ahead above the rest, aren't they?
And Kestrels were trying to see if they could go for a last second consolation goal. Unfortunately for them, that will not be the case.
Good respect for Rule 1 there.
Yeah, credit to Clyde Claymores as well. They're the ones that kept themselves in this one, so there you go. 2-0 on this series board for the Claymore side, and a lot more dominant than I think a lot of us were expecting here, Bacon.
Yeah, definitely. Like we both predicted it being 4-1 in favour to the Claymores. So when you look at this now, you're a little bit disheartened, and I really don't want to think about what's going through the Kestrels' minds right now.
Yeah, no, like...
they probably thought they had a chance in this as well, and it just seems today that the Claymores have really turned it up, and this has been what started off is a little bit shaky, as in they're too spaced out from the Claymore side, but looking at this now, they've patched up the mistakes and they're starting to really flow together. It was to the point of, like I said, Kestrels came into game 2 with a plan, and that just got shut down in the end by the Claymores.
Yes, shut down beyond belief in a ridiculous scoreline. The question is, can they at least get a goal in the next game right now? That's the first step really to trying to turn this whole situation around. And look at the dribble plays coming out from the Kestrels. Taken away. Is that still on target? Oh my god, it is. Okay. I'd love to see now that kickoff went up here. Seems like
Great
two
read.
players committing to this, but yeah, what a mess for the Claymores.
Oh, okay, I like it. Kestrels getting off to an early lead here, Jay, bodes well for them because they need that motivation straight away. Otherwise, they could get down in the dumps. Nice idea to send this downfield and a good chase up there from 6. I do believe that is Eclipse, yep. And Zadov looking a little bit stronger. Zadov has been, for me, a little bit, like I said earlier, down in the dumps, not really progressing. He's been making some very crucial mistakes. And from their key man, you don't expect that. Now he's starting to turn things around as he's getting into the zone.
Cows of Fate testing in the midfield his shots as well on the breakaway. A chance available. Good dribble plays from Zadov as part of things. You thought for a second that maybe they might have been able to find their way in, that this one's not going to be the case. Good challenges still from Eclipse. Forced off the backboard from Calzafe there for the save, and Blue Flares will double commit alongside, I believe, that was Zadov. Shots booms this one up. Calzafe is going to try and look for a strike back. Going to leave that ball in and get demoed out by the Kragavon Kestrels. Chief also moving up inside those blocks. Oh, the block off. It's right there for him, but no. The defensive clear will come through for the Kestrels, and the Clyde Claymores will not be allowed the equalisation just yet. They've still got a lot of pressure on towards this net, and a couple of double and triple commits are coming in from the Kestrels. It's a good thing they're confident, else that will leave the whole back line open, and they're allowed to counter-attack for the moment.
Exactly. Great heads-up play there from Blue Flares as he was able to react quick enough, get that ball out, get it to safety. Really what the Kestrels need to be focused on. Their defense has to be rock tight. Their attack can be a little bit scrappy, but that's purely because they're working off counters.
Zadov trying to pass into his teammate. It will be taken up here by Blue Flares. Bounce out towards Zadov again, but no. Denial kept inside that net, and I pushed over towards that box overall. It's shots here on the breakaway, finding a decent pass towards him, but couldn't quite find the touch. Now the Kestrels continue the pressure inside that blue half, continue to try and do something against the Clyde Claymores team as they pass back and forth, and Blue Flares left alone towards the back line. Taking that to the corner, Chief will dribble it past him, trying to dribble it past a teammate, but a good 50-50 will put it back inside that blue half. Zadov down with a good challenge against Calzafe, trying to dunk it down, but Calzafe gets a 50-50 alongside Chief. Nice open opportunity for Calzafe, he'll boom this back on target, and there's no one there to save.
Yeah, I was looking at this from Kestrels after this hit. Should have been directly back. I don't know who it was who went for side boost, but couldn't get there in time. It's just threat assessment, Jay. And naturally, the Claymores, as soon as they saw that, they were just like, we can pounce on this. There is the opportunity to beat to ball and beat to net.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes to go. Chief trying to out-fake the two players here on the right-hand side. In the end, it will be the demo against Blue Flares. Shots going up here with his aerial control from that blue half, beating out one player. Shouldn't be able to beat out the second. Actually, no, Blue Flares with a bit of a miss. His teammates backed off. Shots passing in towards Chief, and he's got this a bit wide. Calzafe will follow up, and the Claymores a little bit of scramble to control an offensive, but they will be able to get that second goal in the end.
Yeah, good clean-up here from Calzafe. That really should have been the finish by Chief. But you notice that from the Claymores, when they start to pound off those great attacks, they'll finish it. Kestrels, don't get disheartened by this one. They're still very much in this game. This is the best they've looked. They need to get a couple of demos right now and not bumps into each other. They got caught up in the corner, and for me, no real reason here, Jay.
Yeah, Chief to the backboard. Two players colliding with each other. That's a basic move. Avoid there for the Kestrel side. 3-1 for the Claymores. They are looking optimistically good, I want to say here. Into the midfield, they'll go challenging once again. At least a couple of good challenges from Kestrels. Are going to try and find their way into the corner, but the touching from Chief takes away any of the plans that the Kestrels had to try and play out this position. It's Calzafe launches it out towards the corner. Double commit there from shots, so a couple of the same mistakes being made by the Kestrel side, but sorry, for the Claymore side, excuse me. The Kestrels can't capitalise and punish on those here. Zadov, 30 points of boost. Tease that one up. Shots can take it high and wide. Follow-up from his teammate will not come through. Chief will come out and just touch that ball back inside. Calzafe is going to have to be the man that finds that clear. The pass is going way too out of position for the Kestrels. Getting a little bit scruffy on their part now. Shots with control will get beaten out.
I want to see the Kestrels play with a little bit of pace here, Jay. Notice how they're just trying to outright beat their opponents to the ball. That is not going to work. Claymores are faster. You just got to sort of like accept your own pace. So slow it down. Make things uncomfortable. Make the Claymores question, are you going to just hit the ball straight to net, or are you going to quickly bring in for a dribble and then try and punch it? you know, play about that pacing, and it will really confuse the Claymores.
Calzafay here, no points to boost, but we'll still contest against Zadov. Shot's going to back off as Zad does get demoed in. Calzafay passing back over the shots, a little bit too close to the passing player, so won't be able to get control of the ball, but keeps it in the midfield alongside the rest of the Claymore side. Good challenge by Chief. That one's off the backboard. It's going to be a little bit too far left, so not on target, and certainly will not be followed up by the Claymores. They have got 45 seconds, enough pressure to keep on towards the orange side. Oh, what a shot from Calzafay! Said enough pressure would be enough, but no, they want to go for the fourth.
What an angle. Great 50-50 read from him earlier, but then to chase up on that and get such a banger of a hit. Crossbar down. Accuracy for days there.
And that's 4-1. Probably going to be the game for the Claymores here as they look to make their way up to match point here, Bacon. 30 seconds on the clock. Calzafay will get beaten. Nice shot in from Zadov, but Chief is there to take it away, and now following his way back in. No points to boost. Will leave for Calzafay. Tees up for Chief to try and find another opportunity, but no. Zadov able to save, and Calzafay has enough boost to go ahead and tee this one up for shots instead. Backboard play, second touch, the third player. Way too far out, but again, Chief just passing over to Calzafay, able to recover the situation.
Yep, saw the gap right here. Shots, of course, getting off to the side, and you can see Chiefs with two men covering the close post is able to easily put it across for the back, and Calzafay can easily finish that off. Again, they need to spread out a little bit more in defense because they're getting clustered. They're getting panicky, aren't they, the Kestrels right now, Jay?
10 seconds on the clock. Chief here from the sideboard. Just keep control inside that red-yellow half, so that way we have a third game on the board for the Claymore side. Match point. Oh,
the Claymores have anywhere to go this evening? They want to just get this done and dusted straight
apparently,
away, don't
yeah.
they? Yeah, they're not waiting around.
I'm okay with this because that just means I get my McDonald's a little bit earlier tonight. But you know, it's all the same. I mean, yeah, it's just it's so dominant from them. You know, like you take a look at the way that this team have formationed over the course of the last two seasons, and it's like they haven't seemed to have dropped a single beat. And especially against the Kestrels, who are playing a little bit scruffy and a little bit scatterbrained, it's like
they're less coordinated because naturally, like we said, bringing in that sub, you're going to be that way. Just you haven't played as much with this fourth man. Whereas on the opposite side, the Claymores, they play as a whole unit, as all four of them, like on off the pitch. They're good friends, and that is their biggest strength, is that no matter what, any of these guys can click together. And I would love to see that, like, all four of them get to land, and just if one of them's not feeling it today, be able to swap out. That's actually a really great strength to have.
Well, game 4 and all the strengths rest with the Claymores for the moment. I've got that ball up in that blue half, and Blue Flares might get a shot in, but shot's actually a defense as well. Decently played out here as he controls past both these balls, taken in from Zadov and Co. 100 boost still on the way by the Kestrels, but it's brought back by Calzafay into that yellow half. Taken away by Zadov on the rotation. Second touch could potentially put this one close. It's going to be too far wide and very slow. They all missed the ball though, and Zadov blocked off by Calzafay just by the skin of his teeth. Kestrels trying to play coordinated off the post. That second shot will go, and the best chance is going to be wasted out by that yellow side of the pitch.
Yeah, not a man to put that in point blank. Kestrels a little bit too far back, making sure to hold on to the midfield line. I'm not too bothered by that, Jay, because hopefully it should mean a stronger game overall, but they could be a goal up right now. You gotta be thinking that, especially if you're Kestrels. This is a good chance, but no connection from Zadov.
Chief going to be allowed the return here at the midfield. Going to block this one off against the next player.
Oh,
good
good
challenge.
50,
That's an open
yes!
net. There we go. The Kestrels the lead once again here, Bacon.
Brilliant play here. Not only the thread in there, but the follow-up for the 50-50, and then the secure coming in from Zadov. Beautiful, beautiful stuff there.
3:53 on the clock, and the Kestrels now have a lead once again, but we saw how easily the Claymores were able to return in that last game, and here for game 4. They have got a bit of pressure against their line, but a big miss will now allow Chief a bit of control. Instead, Calzafay's going to swing out, backboard playing towards Shots, double commit there on the defense. Shots going to wrap back over, tee this one up and on towards the box. It's just defended by Blue Flares. Chief coming up and over once again. Claymores going to continue this one inside the yellow half. The midfield control will be contested, and Shots going to have to find a booming clear with 12 points of boost. It should get cut off by the Kestrels, no problem here. So Clips moves up, 18 points of boost, pass in, good shot coming up from Blue Flares, but Calzafay gets the save.
Yeah, Blue Flares is actually master there on the midfield. If he didn't get that connection, it'd been an easy goal for the Claymores. But it always feels like it's only a matter of time when you're going up against the Claymores. When will they score? And here is Calzafay with the first.
There we go. Eventually they found it. A little bit later than usual for the Kestrels side, but they managed to get that first goal. Claymore was able to strike back. And again, if they get another goal, then they will be within only about 3 minutes, essentially, of gaining this this game and this series and moving on to those grand finals. It would be nice to see if it pass-up play from the Kestrels. Going to try to see if they can rectify the situation, though. It was a nice effort, but Blue Flares is a little bit high on this one. Shots with his control, taken away by the Kestrels side. As Chief goes up, set off going for the backboard play. Calzafay will be able to contest, but only goes so far with this one, beating out one of Eclipse. And a nice open net towards one player defending. Good block off from Blue Flares. He will defend against shots his shot.
Oh, and not the touch you want there. An unexpected double touch. And this is going to lead to a simple, I say simple, easy goal for Calzafay. Just because he's that good, he can pull these off. But yeah, unfortunate 50-50 and the double touch there.
I'd say it's pretty simple. I don't know, man. I feel like double touch
simple
is
for me. I would struggle for it. You wouldn't even have that in your wildest dreams, I'd imagine.
yeah, true. Okay, fair assessment. Okay. 2-1 on the board. Claymores now within only 2 minutes and 20 seconds of winning out the series. Oh, a big miss may have opened up the line, but no one can punish there for the Claymores side. Calzafay will wrap back over to the midfield. Boom up. That's on target. Taken away by shots on the rotation. Chief of his own right get passed into from the centre line. Calzafay over, beaten out on towards one player. Eclipse will pass out. Calzafay here to control shots instead of back him up, and he's going to try and beat out the next player. Good challenge by Blue Flares instead. Will keep it away from Claymore's control, but that ball's still going close towards the target. Chief here inside the box. Oh, one tee off. It's just barely blocked, but it's not enough. The Claymores a third on the board.
Yeah, this so hard to defend against. Chief just right up in the Kestrels' grills. Was going to secure it any day of the week. It was perfectly positioned from him. 3-1, 150 left, Jay. Do we think Kestrels have it in them to maybe take that goal like we predicted? Take that game, sorry.
I don't know, man. It's looking like it's very unlikely here. 2 goals to make up. Minute and 35 to do so, and the Claymores have been playing out of their minds in comparison to what Kestrels have brought to the table today. Shots in from that corner. Calzafay will challenge, put this one close to the box. It's right there, an opportunity opening up, but it's not going to happen for him. Shots will tee it up and over. The demo's in against Eclipse as Chief takes it over. Shots beaten, teed away, and Calzafay will be able to save on the rotate. Comes out towards that midfield now. Calzafay beaten on the 100 boost. Shots will be able to take this back to the centre line, but bit of just touch and go there from the Claymores. Simple as that. 60 seconds on the board. They will try to look for a shot back here, but they've got 2 goals in reserve, so not too worried, I don't think, Bacon.
They've got a man forward. This needs to be finished right now, but just wide of net. Not able to do it. Kestrels, they have got to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, out the window. Put everything in attack because they now have got a goal and 43 seconds as a lifeline to find another and stay within the arena clash.
It's got to come down to this. 1 goal deficit. The Claymores still in the lead. 43 seconds to defend that lead or extend it, and then they'll be in the grand finals. But the Kragavon Kestrels need to find a defensive, as you say, you know. Oh, that tee up, that could be brilliant, but Zadov just slips it underneath Calzafay.
Oh,
that
big
back ball
mistake.
play, that's a
Go on.
clear. Oh my God, they did
Yes!
it! Kestrels 3-3 on the board. They're equal against the Claymores.
This it's so therapeutic. Finally being able to see Kestrels tie it up. 28 seconds left though. Can they hold or get a further goal? We'll have to find on out here, Jay. It's a good kickoff coming out from the Kestrels, but they need to follow up, put the pressure on, because otherwise it's lingering. It's allowing time for the Claymores to set these up. Not clean, not precise, not clinical like you would expect from Chiefs, and that's got to be the silver lining for the Kestrels. They know the Claymores can make mistakes.
5 seconds, and the Claymores still have the offensive pressure off to that yellow half as Adoff tries to clear it away from Calzafay. He'll take it out of the centre line, back at the midfield. Shots can't get the touch, and neither can the Kestrels forward player. We're in overtime for Game 4, and the Kestrels will need this one goal to stay alive here. If the Claymores win it, then they will be in those grand finals. It all comes up to the golden goal, and Calzafay already has the double commit forced out from the Kestrels side. It will be confident though they can return to the blue box. The Chief there with a save, and Blue Flares setting up a teammate. And shots out to the mid-centre, beating out one defender, trying to beat out the second. We'll take it from that corner out towards Calzafay. Next player to try and challenge, but Chief will remain back and defend against him here. Going up, good tee away. Calzafay there to receive it and put it back into the mid-centre, but Blue Flares up, second player to receive. Shots can get the defence in for the Claymore side. So a bit of pressure from the Kestrels, handled well, returned all the same. Chief to the backboard, third player's got to come forward, but Zadoff is still going to beat him to the ball. Is that on target? Can Shots get this one? He just about gets it off the post.
Threat assessment has got so much better from the Kestrels. You'll notice none of those went in because they weren't willing to dedicate everything to it. They knew they had to hold on to that midfield line. Calzafay's getting a little bit tricky with this ball. He doesn't have an incredible amount of boost, but can get it up in the air. Follow through not coming through. A little bit scrappy on the exit as well. You can see that both these two teams are really feeling the pressure right now, Jay.
Perfectly set up as well for the Claymore side. Again, that final punch just wasn't there.
That's not the touch he wanted it as well. Zadoff is knocking this out to middle as well. Good demo to come through, but you can see they're getting a little bit too nervous.
Yeah, Chief just putting that one way out of position. Couldn't go for that second touch. Calzafay in from that corner. As the Claymores have shots, putting this one close towards the net. It will go to that corner again. Second touch. This puts it towards the box, Chief, but a little bit out positioned again. Swinging out from the right-hand side. That ball taking the left. Calzafay still up here. Dog down chance. It's off the post. And I thought that was so on Bacon. I saw you flinch as well. As Chief continues the pressure to the backboard, continuing to try and keep the Claymores here in the yellow half. Shots up, sets up Calzafay. A good booming shot, but it's just contested by the Kestrels 50-50 right there and then. Chief up one more time. Calzafay, nice open chance. And the miss to the backboard will cost Kestrels big time. 4-3 in Game 4 and 4-0 on the board for the Claymores, sweeping the Kestrels out in the semi-finals.
What a good final game this has been. Like, that is one way to go out on here, Jay. And one thing that really highlights, like, what the Arena Clash for me is all about is giving the chance to these new up-and-coming players, like Zadoff and co., to really improve and hone their skills. They're going up against, like we said, some really top-end bubble players from EU. And can we just say from this season how much they've grown? And you can see just from that one series how much they've improved. And I am looking forward to next season when we get to see them again.
I'd like to see exactly how well the Kestrels will do if they keep this lineup, of course. But you know, for now, the Claymores certainly proving to be dominant. You know, he talks about how this team have got a lot of experience in the Renegade Cup and a lot of the older tournaments that have now. It's funny, we talk about the Renegade Cup so much, but it's like it was
a year ago. Yeah.
It was a year ago now. But either way, that's where these players managed to get their sort of like notoriety. And they seem to have really shown that their notoriety and their skill has worked well within the context of this lineup. I think the question once again remains that have they improved enough to face off against the Enigmas and try and challenge them in the finals, you know?
I don't know. We'll have to see how the Enigmas are playing after this break, because we do have to head on over the break and make sure we get that game all ready and set up. We've already secured one team to Bristol. Don't know what they'll be doing there, apart from, you know, playing Rocket League, of course. Again, nice little break. It's all quite nice. Don't really know what's in Bristol, apart from a famous bridge, I think it was. But with that, we're going to head on over the break, because we have got the Milton Keynes Enigmas versus the Centurions after this.
These manic thoughts won't go away. I hope you're thinking and feel the same. Your silhouette, it dissipates into the ceiling. I'm wide awake under the starlight. Replay the memory.
Welcome back to the Arena Clash here. We're about ready to get into our second best of 7 of the day. If you're just joining us again, you just missed out. The Claymores absolutely dominating their opposition as they make it to their seconds for Grand Finals in a row for them, you know?
Yep, it has definitely been, and I'm thinking maybe even you could count it as 3, what with the HyperX Turbo Clash, so it's been a good time for the Glasgow side, and we've definitely seen they have been smashing it across all of the Arena Clashes in the other titles. But here, let's talk about Milton Keynes Enigmas, Jay, going up against Colchester Centurions for the second spot to Bristol's.
Yes, as we mentioned, of course, this is the top-seeded team in the green, and the Colchester Centurions not quite the top-seeded team at all, actually. MK Enigmas could be on to another second time. You know, they'll be at the Grand Finals as well, alongside the likes of the Claymores. So certainly a dominant force within the context of the UK Rocket League scene. They've, for the most part, got everybody together. They haven't got Magu from last season. Which is one of the key things to remember about the MK Enigmas. But they've still got Evade, they've still got Triss, they've still got Cynical. They've got this new guy Booth, which I haven't seen too much of actually, in my opinion. But we've also seen the Colchester Centurions we saw last week competing as well, and they've got a little bit of potential on that side. But against the MK Enigmas side, it's going to be a very tough still matchup to see.
Yeah, so the Enigmas are not only the reigning champions of the first season, but also of that HyperX Clash that I mentioned before. And with that HyperX Clash, they didn't have Magu for that. It was this new roster. I don't want to say new and improved roster, purely because naturally Magu was a powerhouse player.
Yeah.
It feels like they've lost out from them, but the rest of the team has been able to work on their team plays, work on that chemistry, and formed up in a different way. So instead of them being mechanical powerhouses, they do have that team aspect to them. So now I'm looking at Claymores, and I think Claymores technically are a little bit more mechanically gifted, but Enigmas with their play style it's insane.
Yeah, and I feel like, again, with all the talents that they have on that particular side already, it's just a case of like, well, at that point you've already got a very stellar squad. You know, if they've got the extra team play together, it's like, well, I mean, they're still unstoppable. You know, they were one of the teams that were very they were one of the only 2 teams that went undefeated, I believe, if I recall correctly, in the group stage.
Yep.
So they are, again, they're proving the fact that they are essentially the top dogs right now. And as a result, going into this series, I think they're the favourites. I mean, my prediction is going to be 4-0. But what do you think about the Centurions? Do you think they can hold their own?
Again, I want to give the Centurions the benefit of the doubt, give them a game, but yeah, just like the Claymores, after seeing that game, I think it could be another 4-0 series, purely because how strong both the Claymores and the Enigmas are, and how much dedication they have, and so much willpower to really move on through to the finals and destroy each other. There's a beautiful little rivalry going on between these two sides.
Yes, indeed. The Colchester Centurions looking for a grand old upset here, Bacon. So I think we're about ready to see whether or not they can actually do it. It's game 1 between the MK Enigmas and the Colchester Centurions. The MK Enigmas in that green side and the Centurions over in the white. It's Triss here with control in that midfield. It's Taylor's going to try and tee it back up. He's got great control. A good shot in. Blocked off by Cynical there. Follow-up shot can still come through. And the Centurions trying to fight fire with fire. Sheer aggression coming through on this white side towards that green net. A couple of decent opportunities opening up. MK Enigmas will be able to return back, but they can't keep the pressure going for long. It will be taken away by the defense here of the Centurion side. And Sullivan gets blocking off here. Triss will control inside that corner. Second touch again to the backboard and duck down towards the fade. Beautiful stuff from the Enigmas.
Yeah, and it all comes down to second touch. Cynical did good getting up in the air, but Triss to get that second, pop it in front for evade. Perfect placement to follow up on that one, Jay. The last man defender didn't quite know what was going on with that ball. Of course, you don't expect that second touch to really come through. You don't exactly know where it's going to make the ball finish up. Can't react in time. Beautiful attack from the Enigmas to kick things off.
Taylor's rewind back on the defense here for the Centurions team. They will push that over to the green corner. It's Cynical off that sideboard. 10 points of boost, and Sullivan will team that back off. That was to the backboard, and it will be taken away by the defensive side of the Enigmas team. Sullivan flick back in, trying to rewind, get the good shot in. Triss and Cynical do break away and try to find their way out of the midfield. Evade there to follow it up. Good shot in, and that's off the crossbar, actually. Not going inside. Cynical will try dunking down. Actually, he does slip it past them, so there you go. Enigmas eventually, a little bit of misplay, but they will be able to find the second.
I can just imagine Cynical there, like, no, this is how you hit off the crossbar. And then it goes in, like, the second time. Feel a bit bad for Evade there. That was a nice little counter-attack, and it didn't just work out for him in that case.
I do love it when that ball goes straight up from essentially point blank at the perfect crossbar position to just slip past it. Oh, what a read. And what a pass from Triss to Cynical that gets a third for MK Enigmas. It's goal indeed. It's a 3-0 coming up at the ball.
So there, just no Cynical and how he sort of delays the flip there, Jay. He could have got onto the ball a lot earlier, but he's got that patience, and I think that's a big characteristic which a lot of up-and-coming players should take note of. You don't have to hit the ball as soon as you can. Wait for that time to get the perfect touch.
Sideboard bounce, Triss will pass back into Cynical, and looks like Taylor's going to try and intercept this one. Good play out. A second touch and take it wide.
That's
could
my
not
point.
go for the shot on target. Evade will be able to follow his way back out. Try and go for the shot back in on the Enigma side of things. As Triss goes up, good play out towards the left-hand side, but it will not go on target. Wide of the marker, and that, I think, should be fine. No worries for them. The Centurions been unable to score back here, and that's going to cause them a bit more hurt.
Oh, and that back pass didn't quite work. He didn't want the back pass Sullivan there, and it has driven the Centurions into him half. A big beefy clear though. Sullivan going to be able to get that all the way downfield.
Yeah, first on the board for the Centurions side as he receives that one and gets a booming clear, as you say. You know, Cynical a little bit too far forward to try and deny that. But the first will sit to the favour of the Colchester Centurions. Game one, still very clear to the favour of Enigmas at the moment here. Can still turn around, 3 minutes to try and recover these two goals here for the Centurions lineup. Sullivan pass the back pass over to Taylors. The everyone's going to come up and take that off the back ball, looking for a second touch. It will get taken away by Triss as Taylors goes up. Back ball play should get denied. Triss able to receive the back pass inside that net. It will be played towards. Rewind tries to clear. The Centurions trying to find something, but so far this back line has been very severely pressured by the MK Enigmas, and the Centurions have been unable to get a confident attack going.
I would say though, that demo from Centurions does show there is chance to break away through. You've just got to break up that rotation, break up the formation by removing a man. There will be an opening. The problem is that the Enigmas are great at covering and great with their pace to be able to change around that. Nice play from Taylors, but doesn't cement it to a teammate quick enough. The follow-ups have to be snappier from the Centurions.
I'm going to blame his teammate more for anything else for that one. I can't blame Rewind for the defense. Very nicely played from him. Cynical taking the shot. I think it's his fourth or fifth shot so far in this matchup. Certainly been a striking force for the Enigmas side. Cynical now controls from the box, flicking past one. He's got great control. Demo's in. The follow through from Triss has got to beat out one defender, but Rewind gets the touch in that he needs. Taking over the left-hand side. Evane's going to take it the same position. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the shot in. So that ball goes up. Rewind will try to look for some boost in the midfield. Sullivan passing to Taylor. Good boom back up high, but it's pushed away by Triss. Double committing with the pinch. That could leave the line a little bit open, but that pass from Taylor is into no man's land. Rewind going to swing in and try and recover it. The defensive hold. Sullivan puts it high off the crossbar, and the perfect chance gets wasted.
Exactly, perfect. They should have been able to punish that. We've seen quite a few uncharacteristic mistakes, like the double commits coming out from the Enigmas. They're definitely respecting what the Centurions are bringing to this pitch.
Cynical dribble up against Rewind. Great control. Pass up the pop up for Evade. Surely he won't go for this. Oh, Enigmas. That is perfectly placed. Look at the little wiggle. And then the pop-up. Rewind had no idea what Cynical was going for in that one.
In those cases, for Rewind, bit of advice, you have to commit. He got indecisive there. He sort of overthought the situation. No, you just go straight into it. When you've got 3 players on the pitch, you can afford to just go straight for that, because it will mean that your 2 teammates will be able to see what happens afterwards. You've just got to basically play the instigator. If you're in 2v2s, don't, of course, because naturally you can't afford that. Leave it all down to 1 man. It's just game mode differences and where these guys will probably be most comfortable.
30 seconds for the Centurions to continue and try and find a way back out of this one. That backboard play from Cynical is going to be taken a bit too far wide, but it's time stalling tactics at this stage for the Enigmas. They know that they've won this game. Most likely they have at the very least. Backboard touches, evade. They're going to get beaten out by Taylor's. Rewind will try trace this ball back in, but 100 boost stolen, 10 seconds left. Still 3 goals to make up. This one is as good as done, I believe, here. Bacon as the MK Enigmas will secure game 1 in pretty confident fashion. Some send one more back down for the road on the part of evade. Cynical actually might follow through. Oh, did he get that? Did he like forward flip for that?
Yep, look at this right now. Cynical, very long boost. So, that's the jump.
That is so sick. That is so sick. Cynical, you showboater beyond belief. You gotta love it.
It's not even a highly skilled, it's just cheeky.
It's just cheeky, that's the thing. Like, so you have absolutely no reason to add that extra layer of complexity. You could have just simply front flipped straight back in. But yeah, there you go.
I like it. 5-1, Jay, in the end, to the Enigmas. I think the Centurions are better than that. I think that doesn't tell the full tale of the game. I think Centurions can come back on in. It's not going to be such a blindly one-sided game coming into game 2 on the score division of it.
Yeah, I want to agree with you on that front. Like, I don't think it's going to be that far gone, because you saw very early on how the Centurions had a lot of that, same sort of aggression that we've seen out of them from several times in the past. Just so much pressure on towards that green backboard, and it's just a shame that some of those setups and some of those plays just didn't quite get them the goals.
Again, for me, the problem is that overthinking the situation. I said it earlier with Rewind in defense when he near enough had that one-on-one scenario against, I do believe it was Cynical. And then Taylor's, we've seen him not wanting to put a pass into centre, thinking that it won't reach a teammate. Instead, he'll drag it, just near enough solo run the ball around the wall straight to net, which we know at this level of play does not work. You'll have a man come and defend it, go bring in a 50-50 on you on those walls. Near enough every single time. It is not going to work. They need to, I would say, try and be a bit snappier and find each other a bit quicker.
Sullivan will try start things off on the right foot. That's an open net chance for Rewind, but blocked off as the one player from the corner does swing in. Now Cynical trying to beat out Taylors, puts that to the centre line. Triss takes that back over to the corner. Sullivan is there to respond to it though. Uses his boost to get to the backboard. Chance to dunk down for Rewind will be taken away as Taylors goes off that sideboard. Triss going to get beaten by him. Sets up the likes of Sullivan, and Rewind to swing back in for the third. There we go. Colchester Centurions, the first on the white side board.
Fantastic opening pressure coming out from Colchester here. Notice it one after the other, removing those defenders to the point where they had no boost. The Enigmas always feel confident in their own defending capabilities, so they're quite happy for 1 or 2 players to even be out getting boost at any given time, because they think that last man will be able to handle it. They panicked, didn't communicate perfectly. You saw a double commit come on in, and Centurions will reap rewards from it.
Sullivan up here, denied here by the MK Enigmas. Good
Oh,
bump
what
in.
a
Oh, the rotation from Cynical though. Returns to evade all the same. That could have been beautiful for the Centurions, but the MK Enigmas, they have their defense in check, and Cynical has his dribble plays in check.
Oh, the
fakes
fake
coming
idea.
through, but Rewind does swing out and get a defense of his own right. Taylor back on the counter-attack. They'll block it out from the corner, but Evade are going to continue this one right into the white half. Chance available for Triss. He's going to be a little bit late to strike.
Oh, and Triss there wants to get that over, trying to keep this within his team's control. Notice right now they're looking a little bit scrappy on the attack. They're not convincing purely because they're not trying to go for the goal. They're just keeping the ball in their opponent's half, allowing time to build up downfield and wait for that opening. Great play from Enigmas.
Yeah, you can see Evade working in this corner the entire time, waiting for that 100 booster spawn, waiting to pick it up. And as soon as Cynical passed to him, he took that shot. Nothing the Centurions could do to rotate in time. It's a good start responded to the MK Enigmas. Being able to equalise at this stage. Triss goes up to try and get this kickoff goal as well. Won't happen for them at the moment here for the green side of the court. Oh, evade! It's off the post! Are you kidding me? The 50-50 almost going right on target there. The Centurions just barely getting lucky in this case. Evade still going to look for one here as he controls to the crossbar. Nice dunk down for Triss, and it's denied by a Rewind as he gets off the ceiling and defends as appropriate.
Yeah, great stuff there from Rewind to be able to hold off on the line. Brilliant clear downfield. Evade just a bit too early to the party. You can see pressure being applied, and that brilliant finish from Triss. It's all about these quick transitions downfield. Really catches the Centurions off. Then a team that aren't as versed with this kind of play.
Yeah, 2-1. MK Enigmas, of course, playing well as a team. As you mentioned, you know, the pass has been looking pretty solid. And they have a lead above the Centurions against a solid start as well for the Colchester team. They try and find one equaliser. These shots are going to be way too far wide, though. Cynical beating out one. 10 points of boost. Going to try and challenge Rewind, but again, the resources differential is going to be too much for him to handle. Might pick up that 100 boost in the midfield, try and take away some of the Centurions' pressure in the long term. Finally clears out eventually. Taylor's back up and over, setting up Rewind. He's a dunk right down, a bit high of the crossbar, but Evade with the Cynical should be able to defend against that now. Triss following through. 100 boost picked up by Evade as he tries to receive inside the screen.
Looking at this right now, Centurions are going to be struggling a bit for boost here, Jay. Notice Rewind up in the air, one now, and he's got nothing about him, just small boost pads. Lingering downfield's quite a good idea, hoping that that'll drop down. But he's breaking the rotation. Centurions are in a very tricky position.
Triss going to try and make it even trickier by controlling that midfield. They can't get that 100 boost though, so some going to get clawed back by the Centurion side. That ball goes over to the corner. Triss going to have to receive this one. Cynical will get up in the challenge, but Sullivan's going to boom that right into Triss' position, and he'll get the save out from the nets. Follow through, back over the pass to Cynical. It's going to look great as they get a third banger right on target to try and take this second game in pretty stylistic fashion.
Well, I've got to have a quick look at this. Oh, only just getting the touch as it passes on by. The smallest tap is all he needed to finish it off. Great play. And a big shout out there to Triss. A big shout out to Taylor's. Tried it. Sullivan's got a good fall off on there, but no one to dedicate him because, again, Taylor's after that kickoff does not have the boost. You're better to go safe into defense, especially with 1:30 left here, Jay. You don't need to just go all into attack right now. You still got time. Play to your game plan.
Sullivan going to receive the pass out from that white half. A bit of an awkward touch from Evade, but he gets the second one in of the bump of Sullivan, so they can continue to hold the midfield here for the Centurions side, but they won't be able to get those goals in. Cynical once again bounce out from the corner, teed off by Sullivan on the backline defensive. Taylor's have to find his way into the green half, but he can only go so far as the midfield. Follow up from Triss's initial touch. Evade will carry it so far as the box. Cynical also there for a receival. Evade goes up, challenged by Rewind successfully. Now keep returning this ball as much as they can, the Centurions. Bit of an open net here, but no one able to punish that. Cynical can swing out. It's going to be followed up again by Evade towards that backboard. As long as they can keep this in that Colchester half, it means the MK Enigmas will not be able to concede any goals. Therefore, they will be able to win this second game here, Bacon.
Yeah, and the Enigmas are just straight up outpacing, beating Centurions to the ball each and every time. Is such a simple strat in these days of Rocket League where you're just trying to outpace your opponents, but it works, especially in this pressure game where they just want to keep the ball away from their end of the pitch, not effectively looking for the goal. No, it's just get it up in the air, get that second touch through. Cynical unchallenged there.
Two players off the crossbar, third man swinging in for Triss. Won't be a goal in, but again, as I mentioned, it's enough to get themselves the game here. The timer will hit 0, the ball will come up, and that ball played out towards that corner. The Enigmas 2-0 here in the series, Bacon. A bit more contention being held by the Centurions side. Of course, that aggression still working out well to try and put a bit more space between the two teams. But in the end, they're not able to get those leads, and that's the crucial thing there. I'm thinking that the follow-ups are a little bit less cohesive from the Centurions.
So the Centurions, like I said, because they have to worry about the pacing naturally, because Enigmas can just beat them to everything, because naturally how they route and the management of boost is better in that they're focusing on claiming the midfield boost. The Centurions are playing with a little bit more space, and that means that the follow-ups aren't as quick. Now, that's the price you have to pay for that safety and defense. I think it's worth it, but the Centurions do need to start throwing in a couple of demos to try and break up that control of midfield that Enigmas have.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the midfield control is something that I struggle with a lot as well. Like, you know, every time they find a clear, there's always like Triss or Cynical or someone from the Enigma side. Mostly Triss and Cynical, I think. Yeah. They were able to block off that ball and keep it so far as the midfield line. So those clears coming in towards that green half only went so far for them. For the Centurions, again, I feel like they just need to be a little bit more coordinated at this stage, Bacon, you know?
Yeah, so again, this is just coming down to that level of play. The Enigmas have got players that, of course, have played at that bubble scene level through and through, played in community cups, you know, played Rocket League for a long time. When it comes to Centurions, coming into this season, these were like new lads to us, weren't they? So we don't know what they're exactly capable of. We've seen it and learned it throughout the season, of course, but you can see that they're not used to the level of play that the Enigmas do have. And they're learning it, they're improving, very much like the Kestrels that we saw earlier. But they're not exactly there yet, and it is a struggle for them, but it's one which I'm enjoying seeing purely because they are adapting, they're learning and getting better each and every time. Good sweep in here from Sullivan.
We've got the play off towards that corner, up for rewind, taken away by Evade. Cynical booms that one back though, it's off the crossbar, it's taken wide by Triss. Cynical still pops this one in, and he's able to recover. What a play from Cynical.
Yeah, brilliant stuff here. Triss unlucky. He tried to redirect his car because he thought it was going to be further over to the left with the bounce out. Wasn't. Cynical following up behind is the secure, and naturally that then leaves Evade back in defense. Very safe, very clean follow-up. Great stuff from Enigmas.
Everyone getting beaten out by Evade. This corner play set up by Sullivan as well to return. Second touch does get over to the corner. This is up an opportunity for Taylors, but no, Triss able to receive it and follows through with a clear back up and over, beating out one of the defenders. Evade a little bit late to going up on this one, but he still gets it close to the marker. Oh, the big miss, it's off the crossbar. Follow up from Cynical will go in though, and the MK Enigmas will secure the second goal. Nicely played on the recovery play from Cynical once again.
Straight up, 2 whiffs, and then rewind in a very awkward situation. Unfortunate for Centurions there. We're going to have to pick it up. 2 goals already going to the Enigmas. It's got to be very disheartening. These lads, they can pick it up.
Rewind, trying to tee this one up and over. Sullivan with a decent chance, but is blocked away by Cynical. If that had gone underneath Cynical, that might have been the open opportunity, but no way, Jose. Not for the MK Enigmas. Centurions now back in their own half. Sullivan teeing this one up off that backboard. Cynical can take it up and over towards Triss's position. Play out, once again, pass back towards Cynical. He's got the striking prowess, the hat-trick from the man. The Enigma is just unstoppable here in Game 3.
Exactly, brilliant feed up to Cynical there. Naturally, you've got to be looking at his team and their chemistry again. For Cynical to push forward like that, it's due to that open space in the center and the call-out to Triss. Communication is looking really good.
Oh.
Clutch.
Just about from Triss, and this ball goes back over towards the centre line. Taylor!
Oh, wow, okay!
You counted them out last second, and you were a little bit early to that one. Sullivan's going to try and make his way back in with a dribble. Cynical will be able to defend against it in the MK Enigmas. Well, the heart-stopping couple of attacks there from both sides. It's still not over yet as Sullivan tries to set up rewind here. Pops it past one, but can't get it past the second. Way too slow. Triss and Cynical again able to take the stride back, but it's Taylors this time with the defense.
Will be interesting to see what that demo does from Triss. You can see they're trying to stall it up a little bit there, Centurions. The attack still going.
Oh,
there we go, we got it out.
Triss helping out his opponents a little bit. Evade 1. I think can take it past the next 2 as well. Inside this corner, the ball gets played up towards the other end of the field. Triss going up to receive. Cynical already passed towards him. Sullivan will be able to take that over to the right side offensive. The second touch here from Rewind will go close, but no cigar. It's Taylors seeing that one off the floor crease. Ball in close. Should be easily defended by Cynical. He knows exactly how to handle himself in those situations. Rewind also will get beaten out. Got to win this 50-50 though. He just about was able to do so.
Going to be interesting because this game has now slowed itself down in the sense of a lot of aggression. It's all about midfield plays right now. So play coming out by Vade. It's a bold choice. Triss getting a demo will create openings. But everyone is struggling to find it to net. There's just a lot of wide open plays.
Rewind to Sullivan. Good passing play, but it's blocked off again by the MK Enigmas.
Nice hounding from Triss.
Challenge again in the midfield. Two players committing to that ball, though. Sullivan can still try and take it away from MK Enigma's control. They will eventually find the attacking prowess. Tee up. Here comes one good play from Triss, but Rewind and Sullivan both have to get their way in and try and defend against this because that was officially registered as 2 shots, and Cynical will get a third in of his own right. Pass back in close positions. It's point blank. Follow up once again from Evade. Will go close off the crossbar. It's right there, but it's going to bounce from the cross to the floor, and they can't get the 4th goal in. It won't matter too much for the MK Enigmas. They're still up by 3-0, and the Centurions, their attacking forces, those counter-attacks have just not been able to get the equalizers in.
Let's just face it, when you're 3-0 up, that's the time to be unlucky, Jay. It's okay right now for the Enigmas. Can't seem to get ball to net, but there you go. Centurions with an answer. Rewind definitely can. It's 1 of 3 needed here in game 3. 58 seconds left.
Triss has lost connection.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Is this the attack that might lead to the Centurions getting this back in control here, Bacon?
We'll have to see. Rewind looking for a second. Can't find it. Good stuff from Evade. As you'll notice, if they really do only have 2 players, they'll just look to stall this one out. And Evade doing exactly that so well.
Yeah, it's wasting time, but Sullivan will get it past them both. Here comes Rewind, boom up of the crossbar, the demo's in, but Evade still gets the touch out to the other side. Cynical getting demoed out with a vengeance on a part of Sullivan. Taylor's in, Evade just puts that out of Sullivan's position. 30 seconds remain. Rewind off that sideboard, trying to pass back into his teammate. Is taken to the corner. The defensive able to hold out as much as possible here for the MK Enigmas as Evade goes up. Cynical also there. Taylor's attacks, but it is pushed away by the defensive, and it looks like MK Enigmas are doing a great job. Pass up from Cynical to Evade. If they get this goal, then this would be monstrous, but it's not going to happen. Inside the corner, they continue to play. 8 seconds left. Cynical still looking for the strike, but it's taken to that sideboard, and 3 seconds remain, meaning that MK Enigmas will utilize their advantage and utilize their time stalling tactics, as you say, to get the 3rd game on their board. 3-0 above the Colchester Centurions. Triss can't be able to celebrate with them, but he will have a chance to rejoin over the course of this break. Great effort, great effort, however, from Cynical and Evade there to try and just stall for time, essentially.
Yeah, and that is part of what I was talking about with their communication. And actually, when they saw that drop, they had to go, okay, we got to change plans and just hold. And you saw how they went in for a lot of close follow-up plays, and actually just hold on to the ball and then be able to quickly strike afterwards, keep the ball down their opponent's half. Cleverly done. Looking at this though, Centurions, they did have an opportunity just before Triss DC'd out of the lobby, and Rewind got that goal. But going forward, Centurions, when they're staring down the barrel of the gun of being knocked on out, this is going to be a hard case for them.
Yes, very, very much so, especially with the way that the Enigmas are playing right now. I mean, again, they've had so much potential with that attacking force, and it's like, what do they need to do to add to that to try and make it come to fruition, essentially?
It's got to be, for me, like I said, a couple more demos, bring those out in, but 50-50s are going to be crucial. I still can't take you seriously with the champagne flute.
This is the only clean glass they had in the kitchen, okay?
It's the problem with this being late at night. We're in the game HQ, and of course, all the glass have been taken by the office workers and that, and we come on in, and it's like, whatever's there. There was only one. Jay got it this week.
Yep.
Unlucky.
I got really lucky as well. I got the really big glass. So there's a lot less water in this, therefore my voice is particularly raspy today. But, I don't know if you've been noticing, I've been trying my best to do it the posh way as well. Because I'm just a pretentious individual. It's fine. It's okay. Because we're about to go away from
the bottom. But anyway, we're getting into this game. Stop getting sidetracked.
Enigmas on the offensive play already here in this one. That ball is up, and Taylors can take it over to the midfield line. There's Evade Goes out to that corner. Second touch in against the backboard. The third player is going to get beaten. This is a breakaway that Taylor's could utilise. He's going to take advantage of it. There we go. Enigmas, overcommitment this time. It's going to cost them the first goal.
And it's definitely what Centurions needed. You got to think, like we said, when it is match point in favour to the Enigmas, Centurions have got to take every chance they can. Getting the open goal is going to be brilliant for morale. Only 23 seconds on in though. Enigmas could quite easily respond with one of their own. This is a nice opening play. Needed that connection. Sullivan though getting that touch should be able to keep it a bit dislodged. We have to see though, that's not going to work. Ah, you hate to see it.
Well, MK Enigmas overcommitted of their own right. Colchester Centurions doing the exact same thing. Taylor's did his best. Did his best to get that one off the crossbar, but it slips underneath the crossbar. And the Centurions will concede the first back to the MK Enigmas. And they fought so hard to get that Holst lead as well, man. It's back in the defensive. Trying to return back to that green half again. They're going to try and aggress pretty hard in this one. The pressure and fast shooting certainly got to MK Enigmas in the early parts of the games, but here in the first minute, it's not able to give a lead to the favourite of the Centurion side. It's Evade over to Cynical. Tease this one up and over towards that box. Taylor should have enough room to breathe in terms of this clear out. It'll get so far as the corner. Second touch in. Evade going to try and respond to it, but his teammates got his backed up.
Notice as well the difference in clearing and progression downfield from these two teams. With the Enigmas, they take it slow with the passes and then they really throw it downfield. It's because it baits on in the Centurions and brings them in closer. Thus, they can then secure the midfield. The Centurions, however, they just want to get it downfield as quick as they can, and that is a less effective strategy.
Cynical pop down in towards Evade. He's going to miss it. This is the breakaway
Unlucky.
chance for Rewind. He's a little bit out of position. It bounces off the crease as well. Response from Sullivan will try to keep this one inside the danger box, but it can only go so far with it. All three players caught up on that right-hand side. The backboard plays missed it, though. The defensive couldn't quite get together on that one. Sullivan beating out Rewind. Oh, he couldn't dunk it down. And Sullivan's forced to take away control from the MK Enigmas. There's still that 100 boost in the midfield, but Triss does find his way in. Cynical there to try and steal it. He puts that one out wide, but I think Centurions would have had the defense anyway.
Cynical's got to be careful here as well because he's not got any boost to work with. Bumped away, so we'll remove the man on the corner. It's going to be interesting to see how they break downfield now. Cynical does have small pads to him and can clear it, but only so far.
The Triss might be a bit more an effective strike. It's a bit high. The third player of Evade coming in from that left-hand side of the net. Pass up the receiver. Rewind. Backboard player's going to have to leave it for a second player. Sullivan in. He gets it too far wide. Taylor's, though, able to just chip it underneath them all. Gets it in the back lines and past the back of the net. 2 minutes 28 in, halfway through this fourth game. And Centurions, they have a lead.
Yeah, brilliant pass up there from Sullivan off the sideboard straight to Taylor's. It pulled out Triss and meant that it was an open net shot from Colchester.
Sullivan booming this one close, but Cynical can take it away for the save. No boost available.
Oh,
will
nice,
block
Cynical.
up against one. Sullivan takes this one high and over to the sideboard. Evade will look for his clear back up towards Cynical for the passing play. Taylor should be able to beat him here. Still touch out, and Evade will look for his way in. Backboard touch against looking to be pretty light, but Triss dunks that one down. And he gets the second in for the MK Enigmas.
This was so easily telegraphed, but the lads of Colchester should have known how this was coming on in. Brilliant setup, of course, from Evade, and great finish from Triss, but they had so much time to work with there, Jay.
The Centurions will lose that lead once again. 2 minutes to hold off and try and find another way back in again. This backline's going to be pretty clear for Rewind, but Cynical will swing out. Taylor's passing up. Rewind's not readjusted. He does get a 50-50, and I thought that one was on, but it was a little bit too acute against the post. Taylor's still teeing this one up. Sullivan caught in rotation. Going to have to leave it for Rewind to push it up and over. Taylor's going to leave that ball, not back past it. Instead, just leave Sullivan to come forward eventually from that midfield line, but everyone's missing out. This pop-up. This is Rewind's chance to strike the Cynical. Also able to adjust and follow through. Now back pass towards him from Evade. Backboard plays that Sullivan can defend. Rewind will just try and find a clear, but now MK Enigma's there, just peppering this this white half essentially here, baby.
And you saw once again the progression downfield that I said earlier. The little light touches between Evade and Cynical, and then that big beefy hit towards the backboard. is such a great way to progress downfield. They're trying it again here, but that was off target. There needs to be a follow-up attempt, but no! They connect into each other. Taylor's knocking it down into Rewind. That is going to cost them dearly, as this is a great run coming out from Triss, and is able to push the ball out to the side.
On the centre line right now, it's Rewind up with a great aerial dribble. Sullivan trying to bump the last player out of the way. That ball's right on!
Oh.
And the Centurions, they will be able to take the lead away from the MK Enigmas.
Okay then, 49 seconds remaining. Centurions have got the advantage. Can they hold off what is going to be an absolute siege from the Enigmas? Jay, you gotta think this is such a high pressure moment. The potential for the start of a reverse sweep. Are Centurions strong enough for it?
I had to find out. 40 seconds. It's Evade trying to get offensive, as you say. The Centurions attack!
Oh.
It's going to be met by the Enigmas onslaught as a double commit leaves the back line open. 36 seconds left, and we're back at evens once again.
This is scary stuff, Centurions. They've got to reclaim that lead now. Overtime for them could be deadly. I wonder how they're going to take this. It's a decent kickoff, decent start, good little second touch, but Triss read it well and tried to up evade. A little bit of a whiff, but that's great cover.
Taylor's going to get forced back into the green half as Triss passes out to the centre line. Rewind's got control. Good flick up against them, and he's got it in! The Centurions
Crazy.
not ready to die just yet. It's 4-3 on the white side board. Enigmas lose the lead again and again.
Great response from Rewind and Co. Just what they needed right now. 19 seconds. Again, a lifeline bot. This time, they just cannot lose it.
Evade will try his best to take it away, though. The double commits from the defensive could have cost them in the last one. It's set up perfectly. Plays to the backboard. The third player's already caught in rotation. Cynical trying his best to recover, but he can't get it in. Evade up high. Sullivan can take this to the corner. Bounce out towards the floor. As soon as this one touches, MK Enigmas will look to lose the first game in the series. But it's still controlled out. Ball up once again. Sullivan going to dunk this one right
Good
on.
kill.
And there we go. Centurions will go one step further and take one game on this board here, Bacon. I mean, it was hard fought towards the end of that one to try and maintain it, but the Centurions, in the end, they do manage to find one above the MK Enigmas.
I mean, if they've given themselves the hardest run they possibly can, leaving it until now to get a game. But the run is on. Let's see, can they pull off the reverse sweep? The Centurions are going to have to, of course. Do we think they've got it in them? Because you got to think that's 3 more games in a row they've got to win now. That's a massive ask.
Here's the thing, right? Like, we talk about the reverse sweep potential of best of sevens, and actually, if you go back through like some notable tournament history, there's only like 10 or so different best of 7 reverse sweeps across all of history in terms of just competitive Rocket League. Like, that's tough.
That's a very small number compared to how many have been played
exactly.
out. So, by all means, Enigmas have this series still, but who knows? Could the Centurions add themselves to that fabled number? Could they be number 11? We'll have to find out as we move on in to game 5. Oh, that's a risky opening.
That block off from the Centurions, it must have felt like for a moment that might have been a way in, as that ball was basically point blank in front of the net. Taylor's with a decent challenge, but no follow-up from Sullivan. A little bit late. The defensive MK Enigmas can hold on as Triss gets up to evade. Good boom back to the backboard. Cynical there to also respond, but Rewind reams that one and gets that block in, as you say. Pass it to Sullivan. He backflips away. Rewind going to have to contest against it as Triss goes up towards that box, but can't go ahead and take the shot. The defensive holds on for the Centurions, but as you say, it looks shaky.
It looks very shaky. Naturally, they're panicked. They got that one game. You got to think in their heads, they know this is on. But that kickoff, the way that the Enigmas adapted was so good, and the Centurions weren't ready for that quick change of pace and the ball going straight against them.
Oh, this is very dangerous. That ball sets up, but it is pinched away by Evade. Rewind's going to try to keep this one going, though. The ball plays close towards the box. Cynical, it's beaten out by Sullivan. Again going on target. Second touch! Oh my god! What a shot from Sullivan!
Crazy, crazy stuff. I love this.
It would have gone off the backboard if he hadn't got that small little touch in of his own right. Cold chest to Centurions. First on their board, another opening goal for them. The Taylors trying to back pass on the MK Enigmas. That pinch out from Evade will get pushed over towards that corner. As Sullivan gets beaten, Cynical going in for the shot, but it is defended against. MK Enigmas coming back into this one with a vengeance. They want a goal real quick, and they're coming close to getting it here.
Well, the Enigmas know now that Centurions are finally up to snuff. They're ready to take them on. They have figured them out. So naturally, the Enigmas need quick goals, quick responses, because they cannot let this lead avalanche out of control.
Sullivan with a great dribble. All three players caught to the right-hand side of the net, but Triss will swing in from the left. Second touch from his teammate. Cynical's going to go up to the pop it down, and he finds it as well. Taylor's no idea who to focus on. MK Enigma's playing the mind games, and it works out to take us to evens.
Good pressure coming out from Enigmas here. Great quick transfer downfield, and then the follow-ups so clean. Really catches Centurions off guard. 3:11 remaining here in Game 5, Jay, and it's still anyone's to play. Cynical not getting the perfect read, and great follow-up from Sullivan.
He wanted to dunk it down as well. Oh, Triss, I think he may have put that one in. The Centurions are going to reclaim it just as quickly as MK Enigmas tried to equalize.
Oh, Triss here.
Oh, no.
You're stuck between a wall and a hard place in those ones, Jay, because naturally you want to get into net, try and pop that away, but a lot of the time it just results in that. It's so hard to pull off.
That ball up. That's pretty dangerous, actually. Taylor's fortunately getting there for the pinch away, so he will be able to keep it from that corner. Evade's going to try and keep it going. Second touch to the backboard, taken away by Sullivan all the same. 2 points to boost, though. The best he can do is set it up for a rewind as MK Enigmas continue to challenge. Trish going to try and swing in and try and take his shot out, but it won't happen for him. That ball enters that corner. It's pushed away by the Centurions. Sullivan back up towards Rewind. He takes it up and over. Triss up for 64. Rewind takes it away. Taylors goes off the backboard. Second touch will not be allowed. He recognises that Evade should be able to clear that one away pretty confidently. As Triss challenges, Cynical
close.
actually evades him, but Taylors will move up towards the midfield. Second touch should not be allowed as that ball goes into the midfield. Sullivan can try and keep the pressure going, but they should find the clears pretty effectively here in Enigmas.
Take a moment to notice here, Jay, how there's so many longer plays coming out. Cynical trying to get a second touch on that, but it just means that both these two teams respecting each other, know that it's going to be a hard-fought game from here on, and it's all going to come down to mistakes. They're not wanting to overcommit to it. It's why there's only one player in attack there, Rewind. Solo going for that and that. Try to get the dunk under, not going to happen. And here, Taylor's just noticing early on that he's got to hand it on over and try and run downfield for an opportunity. It's good, but not good enough.
That pop-up from Taylor still looking good. Oh, Cynical's found it! Another great pop-off. Like, can we just give an MVP award to the guy who scores the most goals in this series? Because it would go to Cynical every single time. He is just scoring absolute bangers over and over again, Bacon.
I think that's near enough how it works most of the time. You do get the MVP trophy for most goals, because goals are so heavily weighted on the scoreboard, but we'll see.
1 minute and 30 on the board. Triss and Evade here to the corner. The Centurions trying to hold on to their backline defense. It's Cynical that will try and push it towards the backboard. It's taken away by the Centurions side as Taylor's passes up and over. Evade passing inland, but it's going to go too far wide and the Centurions can cut it off. Return over all the same. Triss off this ceiling now, beaten out by Taylors. This one will go off the backboard. Sullivan with control out towards that box. Evade will pass up to a teammate. Good demo in from Triss to take out some of that midfield. They've got to find an attack pretty quickly though. Evade bouncing up, but taken away by Rewind all the same, Bacon.
Yeah, Evade right there. Didn't quite know what to do. Only had 15 boosts, so it was a difficult time. We'll see. It hasn't cost him, of course. Ball's getting a bit locked down in the midfield though. Centurions wildly off guard, only one man, but that is Taylor's on the end of it, high of net. He's got to get those down.
Sullivan still looking for the strike back. The backboard players will not come through. It's Triss booming this one right back on target, but Rewind will take it away. 30 seconds on the clock. We're still at evens. That could have looked awkward though. Oh, still popped in by the MK Enigmas defender, but he couldn't get it in the back of the net. The back line still holds out. Taylor's booming onto a relatively open net, but Cynical can swing in and adjust accordingly. 15 left to go. Time is a ticking, and we're still looking on for overtime here, Bacon, as the ball goes up to the midfield. And And now
Big
the MK Enigmas start to make their way up, pop up for rewind here, looking for the shot. It's going to be Evade, over to Cynical, going for the very long play. Backboard barely defended. Triss keeping this one alive, bounce out. Here comes Evade, off the backboard, too far wide. It's kept alive somehow. Sullivan keeping this one in play. Evade pops it up. Someone's going to get control. Cynical, close. Oh my God! Enigmas! Stalling for the longest buzzer I think I've ever casted, and they will secure the series on the 0, 4-1. They're off to their second grand final.
Centurions could not get that ball to touch the ground. Well played by Enigmas with the perseverance. And with that, like we said, it is going to be the fabled rivalry. It has been confirmed. It is locked in. Enigmas versus the Claymores. That is our finals in 2 weeks' time.
Honestly, Bacon, after all that, I have to say, I'm out of breath. that wasn't took so long. Oh my word. They kept it alive for the longest. It's like so many opportunities where it felt like that was going to get cleared out, and as soon as that backboard play came in, you just kind of knew. You knew that was going to be...
when it was lingering above net, I thought for a lot of that, I'm going to say pseudo overtime, as it was kept up in the air, you thought just... Centurions, not that to ground, try and get that down as quick as you can, but every time they did try and get it away, it was just picked up a little tiny pop from the Enigmas to keep it alive. And perseverance is so key there.
Perseverance, I have to say, was certainly the name of the game right there for the Enigmas. Even when they were behind, they were able to keep going, a certain level of tenacity, able to give them the opportunities that they found above the Centurions. And again, the favourites will be in the grand finals, despite the best efforts from their opponents. So therefore, we can take a look at our current bracket, our standings of where we leave us after the online playoffs have concluded. You can see the Enigmas beating out the Vikings and the Centurions on their way to the top, and the Claymores taking out the Steelers and the Kestrels. They've not lost a single game on that Glaswegian cap so far in the playoff bracket.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Will the Enigmas, will the Milton Keynes boys be able to upset that? Or can Claymores finally have, I don't know, the perfect season? That'd be crazy, definitely. But we know both sides are at least going to get one game when it comes to that final. I reckon this is going to be our best of 7 going the whole way. It's just the case you get between the Enigmas and Claymores. These are two insane teams, and they really bring out the best in each other.
Well, talk to me about the HyperX clash, right?
So that was a horrid one in a lot of sense, because the winners' finals the night before between the two sides was fantastic, with the Claymores only just being able to etch out the win. But come to the following day, the Enigmas played up against the York Vikings, took them down in a sweep, then went on to face off against the Claymores, and the Claymores just could not get hot. They just could not get started. Where the Enigmas, where they had that series before, were warmed up, ready to go on in, and then just had so much momentum, and it was the best I'd seen that team play, and still to this day, still the best I've ever seen.
What was the score in that series?
So it was a bracket reset as well. You got to think they're coming from lower bracket. The first one, I do believe, I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head, would have been, I want to say 4. It was like 4-2 and then 4-1, I think.
Okay.
So pretty in favour to the Enigmas as well.
Well, that's still at least one series that went to 6 games, and we also saw the grand finals from the first season of the Rocket League Arena Clash, which also went to 6 games. And with one series also going to 7 games, that make that 3 pretty close affairs, Bacon. So I think we might be in for a treat between these two teams. The rivalry is not over today.
No. The rivalry now looks stronger in Claymore's favours, like we said, with Enigmas having to rebrand the team. But like we said, this is the team that won at EGX. So we'll see. Can the Enigmas make it 3 in a row, or will Claymores be able to defeat the streak? Will they be able to start a streak of their own, maybe?
We'll have to find out in the offline grand final coming up next week on, I believe it's Friday.
2 weeks' time.
2 weeks.
6th of December.
I'm being a dumb. Yes, Friday the 6th of December. All those times will be confirmed later on down the road. But of course, if you are in the Bristol area, I believe you can come and watch that match live from the Bristol Arena, which is where it's going to take place. We'll be flying in the Clyde Claymores. The MK Enigmas have to catch their next train, and they are looking like a very, very good side to contest with. Once again, thank you very much for joining us here for the final day of the playoffs. We won't be back on Tuesday, but tomorrow there is the Overwatch stuff, which is going to go into its second day of the playoffs. So make sure you tune back in here live from twitch.tv/belongaround. arenas. But until those finals, I've been the Eternal J. This has been Digital Bacon, and we'll see you back here next time for a lot more of the Arena Clash Rocket League action.